Hello, friends. Welcome back to the channel. This is Instant Movie Reviews with Raina and Droo. I'm Drew.
I'm Raina.
And we are sitting in the parking lot just having seen the Friday opening night screening of The End of Oak Street. This is by the director of It Follows, which was this sort of independent supernatural horror film that came out of nowhere, became this big smash hit. And the director's done one film since then with Andrew Garfield. The name of the film is escaping me. It didn't do as well. And this is like his first, it feels like, big mainstream movie.
Yeah, and was it produced by J.J. Abrams?
Yes, it was by Bad Robot Productions, so J.J. Abrams was involved. I did see his name in the credits.
Yeah, it felt like a J.J. Abrams film, so that's why I'm like, I'm pretty sure I saw that there.
So why don't you explain for those who may not know what this film is basically about?
So going into it, I think what you're going to see from the trailer is pretty much what you're going to get. So the trailer is Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor, and they're just like suburban family life in the 80s. I'm not entirely sure why it was chosen to be in the 80s, but it was fun.
Probably for nostalgic value.
Just for nostalgic value, I think. It didn't seem to really work with the plot one way or the other. Like, I think it could have been done anyway. That's fine. But it's the 80s. They have 2 kids. They're on the verge of possibly divorcing, just like the midlife crisis thing that many couples go through at that age, and trying to hold it together. And then all of a sudden, for reasons sort of explained in the film, their whole neighborhood is transported into the past, complete with dinosaurs and tropical weather and plants. And it's just them trying to survive it and get home. And so that's pretty much what I was expecting it to be from the trailers, and that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
Some highlights of the film is that Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor are very cute together. I think Anne is having just a freaking stellar year. She's really great. All of the kid actors were fairly decent. The sets were pretty cool. The dinosaurs themselves were CGI, but they still looked fairly convincing. They didn't have that like glossiness that can sometimes come with CGI, I found.
I feel like I need to look it up. There was definitely some CGI, but some of it did feel maybe like it was practical effects, so I feel like I need to do a little bit of digging behind the scenes.
I don't know. I feel like if there was practical, it might have just been some of the more close-up shots.
Yeah, maybe.
But I definitely, like, it was CGI, but sometimes CGI has that too polished, and it feels almost like a video game. So it didn't have that, which was nice. And overall, like, it was a fun movie, and our theater was pretty full.
Yeah. So the trailer really caught my attention when this came out, and it felt like sort of a Steven Spielberg directed sci-fi adventure from the mid-90s. So even though it takes place in the 80s, it felt very 90s.
It felt very 90s to me too.
And once it started, I had to remind myself this was a Bad Robot production instead of Amblin Entertainment, because this felt so much like Steven Spielberg that it's clearly an homage and like a love letter to him, and a lot of some of the music even feels very Jurassic Park, John Williams style, unlike the film we saw, Disclosure Day, which we picked up John Williams' score pretty quickly. This felt very much like a John Williams score, but it wasn't, but very appropriate to the kind of movie that they were trying to make.
Had that feeling of those 90s films. Like, yes, it had dinosaurs, so you're going to think Jurassic Park, but there were ways that they dealt with Jurassic Park that it reminded me of. It reminded me of Jumanji, the original Jumanji in places. It reminded me just of those adventure movies that were out. A little bit of Anaconda, yeah. And it was, it had the same issue, or even Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It reminded me, parts of it reminded me of that. So it kind of had the same issue that that generation of films kind of have, and that it's not quite a kid's movie, it's not quite an adult's movie. It's trying to be somewhere in the middle and appeal to everybody, but it doesn't quite know what it is. And so if you're a little kid, it's definitely way too much.
Yeah, so the movie in Canada, I'm pretty sure, is rated PG, which I think may have misled some people. There were some people who came in with their quite young children, not like your son's age, but, you know, elementary school aged kids.
One kid sounded like my son's age, like pretty young.
And
PG-13,
I think it's just PG here. But anyway, it's not a super gory film. It's and there's not a lot of like blood and guts, but there's a little bit of that, and it goes a little bit harder with its violence than I think it could be for a lot of kids.
A lot of dinosaurs
withstand.
eating people and or picking apart their body parts and stuff. And it would sometimes be a little jarring because you'd be going from like a funny, cute scene to like, oh, there the dinosaurs are like eating a person or eating a cat or something. And I think that is really too much for little kids. And I can remember seeing some of those films in the 90s too young and them kind of scaring me for a really long time. So I would not take a young child to it. Even school age, I think it's going to depend on your child. I think it's PG-13 for a reason. I think over 13 is fine. That being said, they might find parts of it quite boring because it deals with like adult relationship dynamics and stuff. And
and it also takes the time to sort of slow down. And I wasn't really expecting the movie to do this, and I was glad that it did, to deal with the enormity of the sort of realization we've been transported back in time. This might be forever, and how do the various characters deal with that? Like the idea of there's going to be no more milk, there's going to be no more music that we can listen to when the batteries run out. And once the movie started getting into that stuff, that sort of hit me and started making me think. And weirdly enough, you know what it made me kind of think about? It made me think about during the first lockdown during pandemic, when it was is this just how life is going to be? And the movie grappled with that, I thought, in actually a surprisingly effective, moving kind of way.
I feel that it did, but I feel like it didn't go hard enough with that. I felt like it was bouncing around a bit for me. So you would have periods of that where it was really, really good. And then you'd have the comedy, which was good, and the wholesome parts, but they were almost too wholesome. So then it felt like, are you trying to be a different movie? And then we'd go into the dinosaur bits, which actually felt like a thriller, like scary at parts. And that's why I was worried it would scare people. So like it did do, like that's just the way I interpret it. Is like, I totally see what you're saying. I just felt like it was pulling itself in a bit too many directions, which could have maybe just been an editing thing, because sometimes editing makes all the difference, which is funny because that's actually a theme and part of the story is editing a book. And here we have like, this could have done with a little bit more editing, I think.
But I did appreciate that it focused really on this family and sort of a couple of side characters that we get to know a little bit. But really, I'm not going to spoil anything specifically, but for the most part, it is just this family. And again, the dynamics of Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway, Christian Convery, who played the son. Didn't catch the daughter's name.
I looked it up. Maisy Stella. That's what I was looking it up on my phone.
Yeah, I thought their dynamic, I really bought them as a family. The family dynamic, it felt like a lived-in family.
Yeah.
So it was very well cast. You said that you thought that the child actors were pretty good. I actually thought they were really good for the age of the actors and the characters they were playing.
I didn't. I think the actors were fine. The way they were written, I felt that they wrote the boy better than the girls.
I agree.
The girl did not seem to me like 18, about to go off to college, and another girl who enters the film, I don't know why she was in it. Like they kind of shoehorned her in there, and she could have had more to her story. And there would be scenes where she was just kind of there. And I'm like, okay, like, why did you add her? Because if you're going to add her, commit, like give her some more story, give her some more lines, give her more to do, like give it a reason. So, I don't know. So I guess to me, that's why I thought they were just kind of okay. The boy reminded me of the boy in Jurassic Park and the boy in Jumanji, like very iconic kind of looking and acting, and the way he acted. He felt very believable.
Yeah. I've seen him in something else, and I'm racking my brain to try to figure out, because I remember being impressed with him in that film, and I knew going into this that he was in this. He was in The Monkey.
He was one of the brothers in The Monkey.
Yes, he was the young version. Yes,
he was also in Frankenstein.
Yeah.
He did Sweet Tooth. He was that Netflix series.
Yes.
So that's Pop Academy. I thought that was going to end up being a Cocaine Bear.
Oh, he was in Cocaine Bear. Okay. So yeah, he's been in quite a few things. So I feel like he's a good child actor, which is
Patrol.
a good
Yeah. Oh man, he's even been in Invincible. I think he's Oliver in Invincible. Oh my gosh.
So again, like this kid, I feel like is someone to watch, because he really did sell. His character goes on quite an emotional journey, and he has to show a lot of different emotions over the course of the film, and I thought that he did a very good job. So I was impressed.
He did great, and his dog is really good. But I will give you the trigger warning that they do show dinosaurs eating animals, so that's a thing, and people obviously, so that's a thing, and that was fine. Like it's not too crazy. It's just what you would expect from this kind of a movie. Yeah, it was overall for me, like it was a good film. It was a fun film. It was a popcorn film. I don't know that you need to see it in theaters. Like I do love getting butts in seats and telling people to go out to the theaters, but I got to be honest with you. I think I said this in the last film that I saw too. Like, yeah, it's definitely worth a stream. I don't know if it's worth shelling out to go to the theater.
See, I think it is because there is some stuff that I don't like watching things on a small screen anyway. I'm biased, I guess, but I enjoyed seeing it with a crowd as well because, as we said, our theater was quite full, and I enjoyed hearing the audience reaction to certain things.
See, I finally only reacted a few times, so I don't know. I could have done without it, but I don't know. I guess Drew and I do have different tastes. He doesn't like, it's true, he does not like watching things on the small screen because I'll be watching things all the time, and I'm like, oh, you got to watch this film on Netflix, or oh, let me give you my login to this so you can watch it, or blah blah. And he's just like, oh, I don't know. Meanwhile, like I love it, but there are certain films where I feel like you're missing out if you don't see it in theaters. Undertone is one of those films that I don't think it's going to be scary watching it at home, but listening to it on Dolby, like that was, I mean, even if you don't find it scary, you can appreciate the artistry because sound is so important to that film.
The Odyssey.
The Odyssey has to be seen, but it's also like Avatar. Like you cannot capture what is in Avatar without seeing it in IMAX 3D. Like you got to see in 3D big screen.
Yeah, and like this is kind of smaller in scope. Again, it's called The End of Oak Street. It really just deals with one neighborhood, so there's not like a lot of big grand shots. It really is quite a small, intimate film when you really get down into it. So yeah, I mean, if you're a little bit on the fence about it and you don't want to shell out the money to see it in theaters, then you absolutely could, I think, watch this on streaming. I've watched Jurassic Park at home on a regular TV screen so many times, and it's still amazing. So I feel like this would just be enjoyable.
I could see this doing really well in streaming, like whatever platform it lands on. It is something that I think a certain age group of kids will probably rewatch the way we grew up watching, you know, certain films. And I feel like not enough movies are being made in that genre. And that could be why this one felt a bit disjointed, because they just aren't being made like that anymore. So folks are kind of like a bit rusty at it, I think. But yeah, it's funny because there's like these spaces of entertainment content that, because of the way things have changed with streaming and everything, they're kind of disappearing. And I was reading this really interesting Instagram post by an animator today about how children's animated comedy series used to be this big thing, and they gave all the examples of like the Nick shows that we would have grown up
watching.
Like
Dog and Rugrats.
Hey Arnold, Rugrats, yeah.
Rocko's
and how
Modern
like
Life,
how that's not a thing anymore. The shows are either made for little kids because they stream them over and over and over again, or they're made for teenagers into adults, like the Avatar series and everything, the Avatar Last Airbender series. So there's like this whole section of kids that are missing out, and I kind of feel like it's the same thing with movies, because when you're seeing the movies that are out right now, you know, 10-year-olds aren't going to go see live action Moana for the most part. 5-year-olds? Sure. You know, like what is out there for the preteen, early teen genre? And this film could be a good film for that age group.
I agree. And it feels like, as people are starting to go back to the movie theaters more, that we're starting to see some of these genres that have not been in the movie theaters as much. They've been kind of squeezed out by MCU stuff, but like we just saw One Night Only, high concept romantic comedy. I'm not sure we would have seen that in theaters. Anyone But You did really well. I feel like maybe this is the beginning of like the classic adventure film coming back. It kind of reminded me in some ways of Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, and Journey to the Center of the Earth, like one of those old films. And like I do think there's an audience for this kind of stuff. I think it's just that the films just aren't quite hitting the mark. Like Jungle Cruise is a good example. Like there were parts of that were so good, and then other parts that were so shoehorned in that I was cringing. I was like, why? Right. And I feel like I think that's happening with a lot of these. And I think it's just, they know when they're making it, they're taking a chance. So they're trying to make something stick that they know, okay, audiences will for sure like XYZ. And then how much of ABC can we get away with putting in? And it kind of really depends on what they're committing to for the audience.
It did feel like they were playing it safe to like make this as with broad appeal as possible. It's not going to challenge you. The ending is a little too convenient for my taste.
There's a lot of the movie that's too convenient. Drew said at one point after a certain plot point happens, he was like, man, I was about to say that this family has a lot of plot armor. And he still wasn't wrong. Like, the whole movie has plot armor. Like, there's just things where it's like, just go with it.
It's sort of like when you're watching The Walking Dead and you're like, there's not that much tension when Rick or Michonne are in danger, because what are the chances that they're going to kill off the main characters? So this suffers a little bit from that. And again, the ending was just the ending. I was like, okay, I guess that's what they're going to do, but it just felt a bit convenient.
It felt like a ending of a family movie. Do you know what I mean? But I'm like, but it's not really a family movie. Like, you didn't quite commit to family movie bit. So
it felt weird. It felt like some parts of the film felt weirdly fuzzy, but then other parts felt kind of harsh. And it was a weird, you're right, it is a little disjointed in terms of the mood and the tone that it's going for.
I feel like they needed to pick one thing and stick with it and just commit, because we're actually seeing that pay off for people right now. That's what happened with Obsession and Backrooms, and even that comedy one that you just mentioned, not the one that we just saw, but the
I
one
Want Your Sex?
No, sorry, the Sydney Sweeney one, Glenn Powell.
Anyone But You.
Anyone But You. Like, that also, it decided that it was going to be romantic comedy with cringe, and it went hard, right? And the invite chose its pattern, committed, went hard. And I feel like that's what this film needed to do. It needed to decide, are you an adult movie, like, meant to be scary and intense and high stakes, and let's look at the relationship and the existentialism of everything? Or is this a family adventure where we're cheering for the family, everyone gets out unscathed, it's fantastical and magical and wild, and yes, it's scary at some parts, but just a few parts, you know what I mean? And I feel like it was just ping-ponging between those, depending on the scene. So but still, like, really fun, really fun, like popcorn movie. It's just popcorn movie. It's not going to make my top 10, but it's a popcorn movie. So what would you rate it?
So before we started this discussion, I was leaning towards an 8, but you've actually kind of convinced me in some of your more negative points.
Oh, really? I'm not trying to be super negative.
No. It's just the points that you raise are absolutely valid, and thinking about it, I'm like, I don't think I can give it an 8 now, because everything that you said, I agree with. So it's going to slide down to a 7 for me, but it's a smiley 7 instead of a 7.
Yeah. I'm giving it a 6. I'm giving it a 6. And I did actually, just to be sneaky, take a look online to see what some of the early reviews are. The number value is very similar to me. So, like, IMDb gives it a 6.6, Letterboard gives it a 3.2 out of 5. So it's kind of leaning more towards my end. It did kind of feel to me like a movie that was made for streaming. Like, it felt like something that I am a little bit surprised it got to the theaters, and I think it's just because of the people involved with it is why it got to the theaters, J.J. Abrams, everything, because it did kind of have that feel of, like, direct to streaming to me. Like, just not, I don't know. Again, it's that ping-ponging. It's like, commit. If you're going to do a big dinosaur movie and, like, whoa, the center of the earth, time travel, whatever, like, just commit.
I will say, though, it's better than the Jurassic World movies to me, and I think it's probably the best dinosaur movie that I've seen since the original Jurassic Park. I think I would even say that I liked it a little bit more than The Lost World, which is probably the only Jurassic Park sequel that is generally well regarded.
I don't think it's quite that good for me. I actually really liked the last Jurassic Park, even though everyone hated it. I felt that the sense of adventure was back again, and the stakes were back.
I kind of left Rebirth out when I was thinking mainly of the first 3 Jurassic Worlds, that Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. Didn't like that. But it's a good movie. But
Rebirth was. I know Rebirth was not generally well received, or it was kind of forgotten, but when I watched it, the experience I had was like, okay, this feels exciting. Like, it feels like a Jurassic Park movie, where the ones before it kind of didn't. They felt like their own little offshoot thing.
Just Chris Pratt holding his hand up to velociraptors.
It's funny. I mentioned this in another video, but I recently listened to the audiobook of Jurassic Park, and I'm just like, this is so scary. And there's so many parts that they didn't put in any of the films. And I'm like, this is going to get rebooted at some point.
Oh, Jurassic Park would have been a hard R rating if they had gone with the book.
Somebody is going to go with the book at some point. And maybe it'll be a mini series, which I actually think could be so great, because there's some things that have turned into mini series that have been amazing. Hannibal is an example, where they took one movie and 3 books and turned it into a mini series. Phenomenal. Not a lot of people saw it, but the Exorcist series was so freaking good. It's really such a shame that it didn't get picked up. Mindhunter is 1 book by one guy, and that became 2 seasons of a show. And seriously, I think they could take Jurassic Park and make a mini series and really do the book justice and make it that like 18A HBO kind of show.
I would not be surprised, because we're getting like a Friday the 13th prequel series on Peacock. So I feel like maybe the time is right for them to do something a little bit different with that franchise, maybe on a smaller scale or spread out amongst episodes.
I think there was some dinosaur fatigue for a while, and I think they just need to commit and make it really make it good and make it scary. And like, there were some scenes in that book and I'm just like, they'd be so good. And it's funny though, because there were things that they left out, because the book talks about dinosaurs having feathers, and this film does that. They're not like big birds, but they do have like feathers with their scales and everything, and I kind of like that little detail. I thought that was good. So anyway, what else is coming down the pipeline?
I'm seeing Camp Miasma with a coworker early next week. It's only coming to one theater that is not our usual spot, so I know that we were hoping to try to see that together, but we just can't make that one work together, so I'm going to see that solo with a coworker.
Yeah, my schedule is just getting really difficult, and it was actually kind of hard enough to fit this one in. So I think Drew's really into this movie. I'm definitely interested, but I'm not quite as peaked as Drew is. So
well, I saw the TV Glow, which was the same director, and I know that you were a bit more mixed on that. So I think that this director's style just
you
hits,
saw that
hits my buttons.
Justice is cast for the next Heated
Rivalry. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, and we've
Clayface.
got Clayface, yes, Oh, I can't wait. I hope that it does better than Supergirl. Poor Supergirl. Nobody saw it.
I know. Anyway. And Dune at the end of the year.
The new trailer looks good.
Avengers.
Even though I don't love the series. Avengers. Yeah. Verity.
Cannot wait for Verity. The new trailer dropped if you haven't seen it yet.
It's great.
As a reader of the book, I am stoked. And Drew asked me beforehand, he was like, well, can I watch the trailer? Is it going to spoil things? And I'm like, nope, you will not see this movie coming. You will not.
So those are our thoughts on the end of Oak Street. Have you seen this? Are you going to go see it? What are your thoughts? Do you think that it was fantastic? Do you think it was even worse than we thought it was? Please let us know in the comments. We love to hear from you. Give us a like. Give us a subscription.
Do you like dinosaurs?
What's
your favorite dinosaur?
Mine is the Parasaurolophus. That's a discussion for another time.
I like the one that looks like the Loch Ness Monster, but they keep changing the name of what it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it's called, but it looks like the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's it for us for now, and we will be back very soon with more reviews. We will see you
at the movies.